Greetings from Crotch Lake. That's good. I want to go. I'm gonna go to Pussy Willow Lane or something. Crotch Lake. What's up, Joe? What's up, anybody else watching? Welcome back. Merry Christmas. Happy soon to be New Year. Yeah. Hopefully you had a good one. I had a pretty decent one, I guess. I don't know. Bah humbug. I'm kind of like not into the season much. Into the holiday season, the man-made holiday season. It's supposed to be Jesus' birthday, but somehow this Santa Claus guy got all mixed into it. Thank you, Coca-Cola, for that. Yeah. So I'm gonna talk about some things, some stuff, and some things. First off, Jimmy Carter died. That's sad. Yeah, I mean, like, listen, I'm sure he's a good guy. I'm sure he was a good guy, but he was a bad president. So there's that. So we'll talk about that. Also, we're going to talk about Luke Beasley. If you don't know who he is, you'll definitely know who he is, Joe, because you had to suffer through Guaranteed, a garbage podcast of Tim Pool's with him on there. He is a complete dumpster fire, troll, libtard troll. I'm going to talk about him. I'm going to show an awesome clip from Tim Pool just tearing into him about the J6, whatever you want to call them, riders, whatever you want to call them. Yeah, so we're going to play that. We'll react to all that. Also, we're going to talk about some plane problems this year. Plane problems. We got some problems with planes falling, not necessarily falling out of the sky, but problems. Probably due to an aging fleet, I'm guessing. A lot of these airlines probably have planes that are still from the 70s even. They're just keeping them together. We're going to talk about that. Also, we're going to talk about Nate Bargatze. If you don't know who he is a very clean comic. New, not so much. He's been around for a little while, but he's starting to get into, he's launching into stardom now, thanks to his wholesome, clean comedy. Kind of like Seinfeld. That's kind of like his comedy. Only, yeah, I don't know. Like a little more chill than Seinfeld, but same kind of observational, clean comedy. Very funny. Just put out on Netflix, whatever you call it, special. And yeah, we'll talk about that. Kind of give you a little review, a little synopsis of it. And lastly, we'll talk about the Duke lacrosse players that got accused back in 2006 from some dumpster fire piece of shit liar, murderer chick that finally came out and said she was lying. So thank goodness these guys got. I mean, it already been dropped back in 2007. But with shit like this, it's going to leave a little bit of a lasting stain. Some people are going to look at these guys and think, even though it was dropped and they didn't get convicted, they'd go, oh, they probably did it. At least this dumpster fire douchebag liar came out after the fact and has finally said that she just made it up. Of course, just so she could play victim. Perfect. So we'll talk about all that. What do you think, Joe? I thought it was hilarious with Luke. Yeah, well, I hated Luke Beasley. I thought he was just tough to listen to. So, I never wanted to punch through my phone so badly as I did with that one. The guy was so irritating. But anyways, yeah, so we'll talk about that. If you're watching and you are not yet a subscriber, do hit the subscribe if you like the channel. If you don't like the channel, well, hey, there's lots of other podcasts. I hear there's a few more out there. Not as good or well put together as this one, but there are a few out there, so you could go and check those out. Like the, whatever her name is, the Kelsey chick that took over Ronan for a hot second. She's back below him again. You could check that one out. I hear it's great. But yeah, so if you do like it, subscribe. If you miss any part of this podcast and you want to catch smaller bits of it, I do video drops basically between Tuesday and Sunday, kind of varying whenever I want. But it's always at 5 o'clock Eastern, 5 p.m. Eastern. So you can check them out then. Like, share, comment, all that kind of stuff. Engagement, you know the drift. YouTube engagement helps small channels, helps big channels, helps them all. If you're Mr. Beast, I don't think engagement much matters because they're just pushing it to people anyway. So, but if you're a small channel like mine, engagement. So that's if you like it. If you don't, leave me a nasty comment, but make it funny. What's up, Robert? There you are, buddy. Got compliments of the season. It's good to see you, buddy. Yeah. So, all right. Well, let me switch over here to the browser, and there we go. And let me get to the first thing here, and we'll get on it and discuss. Okay. All right. So, yeah, no doubt by now you've heard that Jimmy Carter has passed. If you don't know who Jimmy Carter is, well, that's well, he was a forgettable president, but he was the 39th president, I think it is, and basically the same kind of president as the current one, not for long president. So a lot of correlations there. But I'm going to read this. This is the BBC. BBC is kind of a garbage syndication, but let me see what they have to say here. Problems that plagued Carter have also troubled Biden. 44 years elapsed between the time Jimmy Carter left the presidency and the day he died. 4 decades seem like a long time, a record for a former U.S. president, yet many of the challenges facing America in 2024 are not that different from the ones Carter faced and at times succumbed to in the late 1970s. The U.S. during the Carter years faced a crisis of confidence. Americans were grappling with economic turmoil at home and a range of challenges to U.S. power abroad. Fast forward 4 decades, and the players and issues are strikingly familiar. The players more so. It's basically the same guy. The economy and the environment, Russia, Afghanistan, and the Middle East, years have passed, the leaders have changed, but the challenges linger. Carter celebrated the power of U.S. diplomacy by brokering the Camp David peace agreement between Egypt and Israel in 1978, but the glow of success was fleeting. The limits of American power are painfully apparent during the Iranian hostage crisis a year later, after U.S. Embassy staff in Tehran were taken prisoner. So they had some of the same sort of things. The Middle East has been a hotbed forever. It's not like, not like it just flared up. It's been a hotbed for as long as we've been chasing oil. So that's no different than as it is now, essentially. It took more than 12 months of intense efforts, diplomatic and military, to free them. The sense of American helplessness contributed to Carter's resounding election loss to Ronald Reagan in 1980, which sounds a lot, kind of correlates a lot with what just happened now, the same type of thing. I think people just wanted a big change. They had this, I won't say too many disparaging things about the guy because he has passed, but, they had this president who was not up to the job, and they wanted change. So they brought in a guy kind of similar to Trump, which is funny. He was basically a television star as well. He was a charismatic guy. He had a lot of, anti sort of establishment kind of ideas. So same kind of guy. Kind of weird how 40 years later, it's like cyclical. The same thing kind of happened again. So the inability to shape global events, even from the world's most powerful office, continues to haunt U.S. leaders. Current President Joe Biden's dose of this cold reality first came during the chaotic U.S. withdrawal from Afghanistan in 2021, which lowered the curtain on 2 decades of feudal American nation building and saw the Taliban sweep back into power. More recently, Biden and his diplomatic team proved unable to prevent the 7th of October Hamas attack on Israel from spreading into a regional conflagration and a devastating humanitarian crisis in Gaza. Both Carter and Biden, humbled by seemingly outmatched regional forces in Iran and Afghanistan, were also confronted by territorial ambitions of global powers. Carter was lambasted for inadequately responding to the Soviet invasion of Afghanistan and then widely denounced for the move he did make, ordering a boycott by U.S. athletes of the 1980 Olympics in Moscow. So you can see that they kind of made similar errors. And look at this picture here. It's kind of funny. You can see Biden. That's how long he's been in power or in government, guys. He's old enough to have been around when Jimmy Carter was president. So, yeah, I'll just tell you. Which, by the way, I shouldn't dox myself, but that's the year I was born. So, oddly enough. Anyways, okay. So it's going to keep going on a little bit about his things he's done, correlations between him and Biden, and the like. But I think we all know that Biden was a dumpster fire. If you're over 60 years old and watching this, you probably are aware how bad Jimmy Carter was. I don't know. I was too young to be affected by any of his garbage policies. But, I mean, one of them's gone now. The other is leaving office. So hey, it's kind of a cleansing, I guess. What do you got to say, guys? Yeah, I don't want to speak ill the dead, so I'll just stay silent. Yeah. Well, I can't. I don't have that. I'm not afforded that luxury, I guess, when I'm putting up my nonsense ideas on a podcast. Was it the coast for Xmas? Oh, yeah, cool. You still got a drought there. That's so funny because we just literally had a massive amount of rain where I am yesterday. So, and you're dealing with drought where you are. It's kind of just strange. What are you saying here? Mozambique is busy having post-election Christmas riots. They're eating the Chinese. Well, the world's a great place. Eh? There's a lot going on. It's fun. I think he's metaphorically speaking, Joe. But hey, maybe they're eating them. I guess it is Mozambique. Could be eating them. All right, let's just get on to the next thing here. You guys talk amongst yourselves. I'll give you a topic. Mozambicans eating Chinese. Discuss. All right. Bloop. This one's going to be fun. I like the idea of playing this video. Okay, so if you're watching this, there's a chance that you watch Tim Pool. And if you watch Tim Pool's stuff, then you may have caught Luke Beasley on it. I'm going to carry along here. If you don't know who Luke Beasley is, well, you can look him up. You can go search him. He has about 1 million subscribers, so he's a big deal a little bit on YouTube. He's a libtard Gen Z troll, is what he is, essentially. He knows nothing, but he says a lot of things. He spews out a lot of word salad, and he can't back any of it up. So it's very irritating. He takes a very hard stance on the liberal side. He's very much against Trump, and he basically just uses clickbait to get a lot of views on his videos, is what I think, or whatever. But if you look at his videos, I'm going to go through it, do a little dive on it. But you'll see what I mean. So I'm going to play this video, though. This was dropped on X. This is a clip from a recent Timcast, whatever, show that he had Luke Beasley on. And Luke Beasley was, if you listened, if you're like me, he was awful. I had a hard time listening because he was just so contentious, and so he's such a little prick that I had a hard time watching. So it was nice to see this. And when I heard this, it comes differently now seeing it on a clip because I was listening to it, but I'll play it for you. You'll see what I mean. It was a nice little put him back in his place a little bit from Tim. So here we go.
You have? No, right. No, stop. You don't know anything about these January 6 cases. You don't know why these people are in jail. You don't know that a man is in Brooklyn right now for 3 years without charge or trial. And when Donald Trump says these people have been held for too long, you say, no, Trump is wrong. Keep them locked up. That's fucking fascist. Dude, you've been sitting here with no knowledge of the specifics of some of these cases. There is a man in Brooklyn right now, I'm going to say it again, no charges whatsoever brought. He's been in jail for 3 fucking years. For you to sit there and say it is good that he remains locked up is fascism. That is saying the hierarchical system of the courts and the government is just, and the process is all that matters. And I am saying perhaps 3 years is enough.
Yeah.
Because I actually have moral logic and an understanding of these cases. Hence, my position on January 6th has always been the people who have attacked police must go to prison. But 3 years is a fucking long time for assault on an officer. We have seen people on the far left, notably when they were firebombing shit all across Minnesota, 33 people murdered. And how many criminal charges did we get for this? When they firebombed a police station and forced the police to evacuate. On May 29th, 2020, when thousands of far leftists firebombed the White House grounds and set fire to St. John's Church and injured 100 police officers, how many fucking people went to prison for 3 years? How many of them who never showed up on that day are in prison for 20 years?
Exactly.
Enrique Tarrio wasn't even in D.C. on January 6th. And
20
you are
years.
saying that man,
22.
his only crime was, quote, don't leave. That's his only crime. You think he should be in prison for 20 years because you're a fascist. You don't care what the facts are. You don't care if this is unjust. You only care that the machine state has decreed you are not to be locked up. And this is the problem I have with the left. They don't know the facts. They don't care about the facts. They view morality as a blanket government stroke of the pen. And every person cops should go to prison. They did. It's been 3 years. But when you've got people who are on misdemeanor charges for having walked into a building at 4 p.m. after the riot, and I know some of these people, they walked into a building for 2 minutes and walked out, and they got 18 months for that. I don't see you defending the innocent people who walked onto a public, public building after a riot had been completed. You don't know, you don't care. You've taken a tribal position, and people are suffering because of it. Now you say that Donald Trump saying the injustice that we've seen warrants commutation or pardons. You say that means he's advocating for violence. This is the ultimate problem. Then you cite a press release from Maryland saying that the right's more violent. There is a distinction between a white supremacist as a right-wing group and a run-of-the-mill Christian conservative who showed up on that day not to protest. Let's talk about Brandon Strzok. He never went in the building. He was on the other side of the building. There was a permanent protest. He walked up the stairs and he was yelling. They put this guy in prison. There is Owen Schroyer, who was at a permanent rally, who was yelling death to communists. They put him in prison and specifically cited his speech. My dude, you don't know what you're talking about. And it's fine. I get it. We try to be polite. We try to be nice. But there are so many young liberals who sit here and say, the corporate press told me that these people are bad, and the machine state government has decreed it by pen. So I don't care what crime they committed. I don't care what the jury said. I don't care who was on the jury. Enrique Tarrio, who was not there, should be in prison for 2 decades. Tell me this now. Why is Enrique Tarrio in prison?
Yeah, so they uncovered with him plot to overthrow
the plot.
Enrique Tarrio's? Yeah, and his organization.
What plot? Who's they? Give me some
prosecutors.
Give me some fucking data. Stop squinting at me and saying the prosecutors did a thing. You didn't know. You didn't read it. You didn't read the court papers. All you know is the fascist machine state told you he should be in prison, and you're saying yes to them.
Wow. A lot to unpack there. Yeah. One thing I'll give this little prick some kudos on, is that he actually shut up for a little while there and listened. But his response is just, of course, it's just stupid. It's just a bunch of talking points. I think they all learn from the same, they drink from the same trough as each other. Basically, they learn from the same thing that Kamala Harris learned from. You just don't say anything. You just put a bunch of words together, word soup, and pass it off and hope nobody notices that you made no sense whatsoever. And you had nothing, nothing to back up what you said. Now, I will say this. I don't know. I'd like to see solid evidence. I don't know where we'd find it or where you'd get the trustworthy evidence to show that there are anybody now, almost 4 years later, that haven't been charged and are still sitting in prison. I don't know if that's true or not. I tend to take the word of people that are credible and that maybe they found this evidence, but I'd like to see this evidence out. I'd be more inclined to believe that there aren't any that haven't been charged in prison, but there are people that are awaiting trial and nonsense charges for sure. 3 years plus for, what they call assault on an officer, people pushing past police officers and such, people that were just there getting 18 months. It's nonsense. I think anybody kind of knows this is nonsense. And the reason why it's nonsense is because it's just not, it's not the same. It's not rules for you and rules for me are the same, right? It's they just chose to make, an example out of these people. So, but to get back to this dumpster fire, Luke Beasley, if you go, I'm going to show you. You go to his channel. This is irritating, but I'm going to show you. So here's his YouTube channel. So I'm going to scroll through here. We'll start at the top. The Luke Beasley Show. The Luke Beasley Show. So he's got his own little show. Sadly, it's got a few more subscribers than I do. Just a couple. So that's sad, but hey, whatever. It is what it is. But look at this. So this is what I'm talking about, trolling or clickbaiting. Oh, here we go. So here's one of the videos from that where he's talking about his time on Tim Pool. This is the title. Trump supporter makes me cry, shake, and ends my career. You read all the titles to this idiot's videos. They're all like that. Trump disturbs the world on Christmas. Did you miss this? Joe Rogan on here. Watch guests go nuts as Joe Rogan goes there. Scary. MAGA bro threatens my life. Here's my response. He's just a little fucking prick. He just looks like a little putz. He's got a stupid smug look on his little goofy fucking face. He's just the kind of idiot you just want to just fucking smash him. I hate this fucking kid. I hated him when I watched or when I listened to it. All his little smug remarks, his little smug face when I see him now. I fucking hate this guy so bad. Such a dumpster fire. I hate the people that we reward this garbage. This idiot little prick knows nothing. Yet he's got a fucking channel with over 1 million subscribers. What am I doing wrong? I'm not under any idea that my show here is great or anything. But really? His is okay. Let's do quick math here. His is like 3,000 times better than mine. No, it's not. I'm wrong. 3,000? Is that right? 3,000? Yeah. Well, 2,500 times better than my show. Really? Okay. So there's that. Now let's look at Timcast. Let's see what they have to say about it. So here's some right at the top, basically. Here's one of the shows with him. Tim Pool debates Gen Z leftist on crime against leftists and right. Doesn't say, it's basically exactly what happened. There's none of this clickbait shit in his titles. It's just what happened there. He's not even going after this guy. He's not even like using shitty imagery or any of that kind of stuff. He's not lying. He's just debating him. He had this idiot on his show and he debated him. The guy came with no information whatsoever, nothing to back any of his claims, and he got schooled. Just in 3 minutes there, you saw how schooled he got in just one little segment, which was funny because after that whole tirade, he basically kind of backed off. If you listen to the podcast, he kind of seemed to chill out a little. I mean, Beasley, because I think he knew that he was kind of in shark waters at that point. He realized, well, he can't hold his own in a sphere of people that actually do some research. And Tim's one of those guys that actually does the research. He doesn't like to speak about things unless he's done some research on it, which makes him, just makes him a good journalist, which he is, where this kid is not. And the difference is on the subscribers. You can see there's over 1 million subscribers difference between Timcast and Luke Beasley. Well, I get myself riled up when I talk about goofs like this. But yeah, so this guy's a dumpster fire. This piece of shit. Don't support him. Don't go looking at his videos. I mean, I had to do a little research on him. But I fucking hate this guy. I hope you hate him too. If you don't hate him, let me know in the comments. Let me know where I'm wrong. I'm not, but let me know where you think I'm wrong. This guy is a garbage fucking loser. I'm sick of talking about him. If you could figure out how to get native volume, that would level your podcast up. Native? It's native volume. What's that mean, man? All right, let's see. I missed a lot of stuff here. What do you guys have to say? Pool savage the brute, but Pool himself is wishy-washy liberal. Well, okay. So this is, I get this all the time. I used to be a liberal. I mean, I kind of still am. The Overton windows moved, right? So I'm still kind of a classic, I'm classic liberal, essentially. As I get older, as it happens with every liberal, you get a little bit more conservative. But realistically, I'm a classic liberal. So I understand his point of view, but he's being pushed more and more over towards the right, which same for me. I find myself leaning a little bit more and more right as the left gets more nonsense. So, yeah, I don't know. If you say he's wishy-washy, I don't know. Somebody could call me wishy-washy too, I guess, in some way. But I've always been a classic liberal and basically left centrist. I find I'm really centered on a lot of things. I see the nuance in pretty much everything, both sides. So yeah, I mean, on any topic, I can kind of move a little bit. It depends on the argument, depends on what's being said, and how strong your point of view is. And maybe I've got some blind spots in certain things. So I find myself moving around a little bit from time to time. I don't know if I would call that wishy-washy, but maybe. But yeah, I've been watching Tim Pool now for about 4 years, and I get what you're saying because he has kind of like, you know, he's gotten a lot stronger. Let's put it that way, towards the other way, and you do see a lot more of these kinds of, you know, whatever if you call them right rants. But yeah. Anyways, okay. So what are you saying here? If you could figure out, yeah, I don't know what you're talking about with native volume. You have to elaborate a little bit on that. Crank the volume a little, please. My tinnitus. I've been fucking with the volume. Are you talking about the volume on the videos? Because I've been screwing with the volume on this, but the volume on the videos are kind of stuck to Real Player off of my, you know, the volume or the speakers I have on the laptop, right? So it's, you know, I don't know. I can tweak that a little bit, but I don't play enough videos to really worry about that too much. But I will look into it. What else can I say? Tim has never claimed to be anything else. I'm what you would call a classical liberal. Exactly. That's where I kind of fall to. Factory settings woke. Classical Western liberalism needs stiffening up, but it's a start. Don't waste your time. These people are tedious beyond any telling of it. Yeah, I agree. It was an hour and a half spanking. Yeah, it kind of did turn into that. At first the kid was like, he was sparring back and forth with him. It was just nonsensical and irritating. And then Tim, I think Tim got tired of it. So it went to a good old fashioned kind of just spanking where the guy and Beasley he wasn't as chirpy after the fact. Excuse me. The schooling will quickly wear off. Goof dropping, G-bombs. Yeah. Native volume is volume from the Vizio. It sounded like we were getting the sound from your mic. Maybe it might have been dragging a little. It's fairly close in proximity too, so. Native volume was the Fuzzy Wuzzies having a sing-song. Yeah. Listen, guys. All right. If that's it, if you're telling me that levels up my podcast to 1 million subs, I'm on it. I'll go spend a bunch of money. I'll get a soundstage. I don't believe you though. I don't think it's gonna work. I think I need some good guests. I think my mic was turned a little too. That might have been throwing it off a little because I've got it set for this way. So I have my mic like this. So maybe it was catching a little bit of it. I'll have to listen back in the sound. All right, let's get on to the next thing here. Boop. Okay, so if you've been traveling in 2024, you're probably a little nervous. No, I don't blame you, because there have been some plane issues. I just saw a video the other day of somebody posted on Instagram where the wing was on fire. It turned out it was the landing gear. It was a flight here in Canada, in Halifax, Canada here, and the flight or the landing gear didn't go down properly, so I guess it caused a lot of friction or something, and it caused the wing to catch fire, and people filmed it. Luckily, the plane landed, no real severe issues. People were fine. So that's a good thing, but not so much for some people in South Korea. I'm going to read this article. This is CNN, so you know how much of a garbage fire it is, but let's see what they have to say. 2024 has been a nerve-wracking year for plane travel. How safe is it really? Anxious airline flyers may well remember 2024 as the year their worst fears about the safety of air travel felt confirmed as a series of unprecedented and in some cases fatal airplane incidents captured headlines. 3 separate incidents last week aboard South Korean, Canadian, and Azerbaijani airliners have stirred those anxieties during the busy holiday travel period. But statistics show the risk of death or injury on a commercial flight is extremely low. And people don't remember that. There's tons of planes flying every day. Very few incidents in the grand scheme of it. So it's very safe. The latest incident happened Sunday in South Korea when a Boeing passenger jet crash landed at Muan International Airport, killing 179 people, the deadliest aviation disaster in the country since 1997. In footage broadcast by multiple South Korean news outlets, the Jeju air flight can be seen skidding on its belly at high speed, hitting an embankment and erupting into a fireball. It's still unclear what caused the crash, though experts told CNN the plane's undercarriage, specifically the wheels used for takeoff and landing, appeared to not have fully deployed before hitting the tarmac. South Korean authorities are probing the cause of the disaster with the help of investigators from the United States. So the Sunday statement on X, Boeing extended its deepest condolences to the families who lost their loved ones. Okay. The crash came after 38 people were killed on Christmas Day when an Azerbaijan Airlines flight crashed after entering Russian airspace in Grozny, Chechnya. It is unconfirmed what was behind the incident, but the Azerbaijan's president, that's a fun word to say, Azerbaijan, President Ilham Aliyev has accused Russia of accidentally shooting down the airliner. Ooh. Chance of that, I guess. It is a hot zone. Russian President Vladimir Putin apologized for the fact that the tragic incident occurred in Russian airspace in a phone call with Aliyev last week, according to the statement from the Kremlin, but did not claim responsibility. And on Saturday night, an Air Canada Express flight reported a non-fatal accident. The flight, operated by partner PAL Airlines and carrying 73 passengers, experienced a suspended landing gear issue after arriving at Halifax Stanfield International Airport in Nova Scotia, though no injuries were reported, according to the airline. These incidents closed out a year that has been less than flattering for the airline industry, particularly for beleaguered jet maker Boeing, which has faced heightened criticism about its quality of its products. In January, a panel blew off an Alaskan Airlines flight, leaving a gaping hole in the side of the Boeing 737 MAX fuselage. No passengers died, but the incident followed two fatal 737 MAX crashes in recent years, one in 2018 and another in 2019, which triggered a 20-month grounding of the model worldwide. So I don't know. I don't know if it's due to maybe an aging fleet. I know they still have planes. So I looked into it a bunch of years back, maybe about 10 years back. I had a guy do some work for me at a place that I was managing, and he told me he was part of an airplane club, essentially, where you can buy ownership in a plane, and then it's almost like a timeshare for a plane. And they had a small Cessna or something. I can't remember what it was, but it's worth about $120,000, but it was like 1983. The plane was from like 1983 or something. It's just like boats. They don't really, it's not like you're buying planes every couple of years, right? So these planes can be pretty old, but they keep them in good shape. So, they're constantly doing maintenance and stuff. But I don't know if that's necessarily the problem, or if it's just that some of these newer planes are just getting built worse. Maybe it's DEI. Who knows? Maybe it's some, I don't know, cheap materials that they're using or something like that. But there's definitely a little bit of an elevated incident rate going on, which is a little scary if you're going to be traveling anywhere. I mean, again, you're less safe in a car, so you're fine. But this is something to be a little concerned about, I guess. What are you saying there? I didn't say 1 million subs, but maybe 100. Oh, 100 subs? I can get 100 subs? I have more than 100, man. They don't all watch, but many light plane crashes in the States this year. Yeah, light planes are a little bit of a different thing altogether, right? Because operator error and such, and I'm sure they're not maintained as well as the commercial airlines. I hate flying and would rather drive 3 days to get to Washington and fly 8 hours. It's funny. Too right, flying international is a pain, but local is still okay here. It's funny. I've been watching a little bit. I've been catching these TikToks. I just got on TikTok recently. Whatever. I've been holding out for a long time, but I finally got on there. I've been posting videos and stuff, but there's a Amalfi private jet, whatever the heck it is. I've been catching these videos for whatever reason. I guess he's pretty popular on there, but he talks about it's these people that are booking private jets and stuff. But holy shit, the price on those. I didn't think they were that crazy. Some of these fucking, like, they'll fly like round trip to, I don't know, whatever. Let's say round trip from Canada to Hong Kong or something. $285,000. Holy shit. So, yeah, well, until you can, until you get hundreds and hundreds of thousands of dollars for private air flights, I guess commercial is the only way we're going to be able to go. So, most air travel I do is charter to bush sites. Oh, is that cheap too? Or can't see that being all that cheap. But I don't know. fuel can't be too inexpensive. So these planes, it's almost like they're like plane share as well, right? Like these people own these private jets, and then they sort of sub them out, almost like a ride share or something, or like what Uber's going to do, or not Uber. I mean, what Tesla's going to do when they finally get their self-drive together, where you can basically rent your Tesla out for other people to use while you're at work and such. Well, it wouldn't be other people to use. This is basically taxiing people. I feel like if I drove to Washington, it would take me like 3 weeks because I would stop at campgrounds to fish for a couple of days. Yeah. I drove to Vegas in 2019 from where I am. So Southern Ontario to Vegas, it was like 33 hours or something like that. Basically 2 days of driving, essentially. So because we drove most of the time, we didn't really stop anywhere. Mines prospects in the middle of Timbuktu. Oh, okay. Well, and it's funny because Timbuktu is a place for you. Timbuktu is a funny place that we use as a name here. We're gonna drive all the way to Timbuktu. But anyways, all right. Let me get on the next thing here. Whoop, there it is. All right. So Nate Bargatze, if you haven't heard of him, he is a very wholesome, a very, what's the word I'm looking for? Very Seinfeldian comedian. He doesn't swear. He doesn't use heavily inappropriate things in his jokes, but he's very funny. So if you like that, if you don't like all the swearing and all the whatever you want, kind of like kid-friendly comedy, maybe they wouldn't even understand, but you wouldn't have to put the earmuffs on all the time. This is the guy for you. He just released a new Netflix special called Your Friend. He has a couple other ones. It's good. It's very good. It's not going to get you like crazy killing yourself laughing out loud, but you're going to smile and chuckle and laugh throughout the whole thing. So he's just funny. He's a very funny guy. And again, he's doing it without any crudeness in his jokes. So it's quite a thing. I'm going to read this article. This is Cracked. It's going to give you a little sort of synopsis on him, a little bit on the new Netflix special, and we'll see what it says. Your friend Nate Bargatze cements Bargatze's status as comedy comfort food. Hag is a dish, or hag, I think it is. Hag is a dish word or Danish word that describes the Scandinavian concept of contentment and well-being that comes from enjoying life's simple pleasures. Hag is also the word to characterize the comedy of Nate Bargatze, who continues to deliver the cozy comic vibes in his latest Netflix special, Your Friend Nate Bargatze. Bargatze. If you're wondering, is that a good thing? You're asking the right questions. The answer is both yes and no. It's mostly yes, as Bargatze is now firmly established as his generation's answer to Bob Newhart, the deadpan everyman who gets laughs simply by laying life's absurdities on the table. Bargatze's comic persona as the pretty dumb guy befuddled by life, somehow communicated in exceedingly clever ways, is a foolproof vehicle for transforming the mundane into comedy gold, and his recent success has brought an even more relaxed confidence to his storytelling. It's kind of just a whole word salad to say that he's just fun and wholesome to watch. Like in his breakout SNL sketch, Washington's Dream, Bargatze's new special is mostly a description of the stupidity that's always there in front of us, which is funny about this sketch they're talking about. I don't know if you've seen it, but he's just standing, he's on a boat, he's playing Washington, and they're traveling on a boat, and he's coming up with all kinds of different sayings and things like that. It's just this sort of nonsensical, funny little skit that you wouldn't think it would be all that great, but it seemed to be a bust out for him. And actually, oddly enough, almost didn't make it past the cutting room floor. He had to fight for it. So it's kind of funny that it ended up being, kind of a big thing that pushed him forward a little bit. When working as a water meter reader in Wilson County, Tennessee in 2001, he was asked to help defend the town's water supply after the terrorist attacks on 9/11. Oh, this is one of the jokes in his stand-up there. Who needs punchlines when you can just explain the situation? Of course, Osama bin Laden would choose rural Tennessee as his next target. Of course, Bargatze, armed with a lantern, would be qualified to fend off the Taliban once they arrive. He's just kind of blowing the joke here, but anyways, that's a joke that he's trying to put into his writing here. This is cracked, so let's not expect too much from this article. Flip side of it is high comedy is a good thing, is that Bargassi's jokes aren't likely to stay with you for very long. People with whom I watched the special commented that it was hilarious, but they'd forgotten most of what Bargassi had talked about almost as soon as it was finished. This isn't Jared Carmichael or Hannah Gadsby trying to shake up the world. It's not Ronnie Chang or Nikki Glaser or John Mulaney making us laugh while revealing something essential about themselves. Instead, Bargassi jokes about doing the laundry, getting another dog, or returning the shirt that doesn't fit. They put, okay, already you lost credibility with me. You put Hannah Gadsby in there. Okay. Or Jared Carmichael. Yeah, these are fantastic. Nikki Glaser, she's pretty good. She's pretty solid. John Mulaney, pretty solid. Ronnie Chang, I turned off his special. Didn't find it funny. So, okay, you're 40% on your five comedians there. Relatable stuff, comfortable stuff. That's the key to Bargassi's stadium-sized appeal in 2024. Here's another thing. So when you watch this, you're going to see that he does a stadium. So he's constantly doing the slow turn. I don't like that. I don't know why they do it. I mean, obviously I know why. It's more money. Get more people in a stadium. But I've gone to see comedy shows like that, and it's like, it's not good. It's not that it doesn't have the same feel at all as a smaller venue. I would pay 3 times as much for a smaller venue than the giant venues where I've seen, like, I saw Dane Cook in a very large one. Actually, I saw Dane Cook twice. I saw him in a smaller and I saw him in a larger one, and he was so much better in the smaller venue. I saw, what's his face? Small black guy. Why am I losing? Kevin Hart. I saw Kevin Hart in a large thing. No good. Anyways, but yeah, so that kind of throws it off a little for me as well. I'm sure it would have thrown it, but I mean, for Netflix, it doesn't really matter because they're just shooting it. But yeah, as far as a live show, no, not so good. Anyways, my review of this is it's good. Watch it. Anything Nate Bargatze is funny. It's good. So you're gonna enjoy it if you like pure comedy. If you like Seinfeld, for sure you'll enjoy Nate Bargatze. If you like a little bit more like out there, live shit, a lot of crass stuff, well, then he's probably not for you. But he's very enjoyable, and I think he's gonna do well long term. So go watch this. Let me know what you think in the comments. What are you saying, Rosie? This is a riveting podcast. Wow. Thanks. Well, thanks for jumping in the comments, at least, you fuck. Whatever. That's not even that funny of a comment, but it kind of caught me off guard. So I guess, all right, you win. You win the comment section for now. What are you guys saying there? Such a boomer. He's the Will Smith of comedy. Yeah, okay. I don't know. No, Will Smith's not funny, though. Will Smith's a pretty good actor when he's not smacking people stupidly. But I don't think he's all that funny. Now, I mean, I think he's more like Jerry Seinfeld. But Rosie the Riveter. It was a riveting comment. It got me, though. It actually kind of got me, though. But whatever. Fuck you. Go fuck yourself. Put your own fucking podcast on, and then critique mine, asshole. Whatever. Subscribe. She'll subscribe just to see what I have to say about her. Fucking douche. Yeah, it was funny. It did kind of come off like that. The article kind of came off like it was bashing it a little bit, but then it was like, then it was like, oh, it was good. So it was, I don't know, I think somebody trying to clever right. But I like Bargatze. I don't know. If you've seen his other shit, I think he's funny. But this one, I mean, I just watched, I was laughing, but I wasn't like dying laughing. Like I find when I'm watching, certain other comedians, like Dave Chappelle doesn't do it as much anymore, but his older stuff I used to really laugh at. Now it's more I just find him the same, where it's just enjoyable to watch. I just watch him and I'm smiling and I'm giggling the whole time. But Bargatze's fun. He's good. I recommend him. I'd watch anything he put out. So, all right, let me get on the last thing here. This one pissed me off. This story. Ooh, I saw this a couple days back. This is probably maybe even last week, because I've been gone for 2 weeks. So this one really fucking pissed me off. But let me go through it here. All right, here we go. Okay, so I don't know if you heard about these 3 Duke lacrosse students back in 2006. They were accused of the involuntary nookie, whatever you want to call it. Can't use the R word. They were accused of that by this complete dumpster fire piece of shit murdering douche. And luckily they weren't convicted then, because I guess obviously it didn't happen. So there wasn't evidence to convict these guys. Thank God. But 20 years later, she's finally come out. Quite 20, but whatever. She's finally come out now and said it wasn't true and she was doing it just for attention, essentially. Let me read this article. This is Fox News. So Crystal Mangum confesses to lying about being AR'd by Duke lacrosse players in 2006. Former stripper, yeah, it's credible, and current murder convict, Crystal Mangum, confessed to lying about being AR'd by Duke lacrosse players in an interview on the independent media outlet Let's Talk with Kat on Thursday. I testified falsely against them by saying that they AR'd me when they didn't, and that was wrong. And I betrayed the trust of a lot of other people who believed in me. I said they did it. That was wrong. Was that wrong? Was I wrong for that? Yeah, we frown on that. You're not supposed to do that. You shouldn't accuse anyone of R-ing you. You just shouldn't. Bad. Dummy. Mangum, who is serving a prison sentence for murdering her boyfriend, falsely accused 3 Duke players of R-ing her while she was performing at a team party in March 2006. And by performing, I'm guessing she was stripping. So, no, that's performing, but that's sure. The players she accused were arrested, igniting a national controversy and conversations about racism. Of course. First thing, these are white guys and she's black. Has to be racism. The allegations, in fact, it's the other way around. Wouldn't it be the other way around? They were very attracted to her. If this is true, they were attracted to her. So they AR'd her because they were attracted to her. If they were truly racist, they would probably not want anything to do with her. Make that not make sense. Anyways, all right. The allegations were even resulted in the team having to cancel its season. So look, this is what happened. So this idiot accuses these guys of doing this. Now they got to go through all the bullshit of that. So they got to go through all the legal shit. They got to get past the idea that people think that they're guilty because shit, there's just whatever percentage of the population's just stupid and they're just going to believe it right away. Oh, somebody said a thing? It's got to be true. So they'll believe it. So then they got to fight all that. And then they lose their entire season of lacrosse. So this piece of shit comes in, makes an allegation, and they lose all this. I wonder what happened to her. Probably fucking nothing. This is the kind of shit that pisses me off. You should be able to, when you're accusing somebody of something, you better have some shit to prove it. Because if you don't, and they find out it didn't happen, or in this case, you lied, well, fuck you. Like, any book that can be thrown at you should be thrown at you. The 3 players, David Evans, Colin Finnerty, and Reed Seligman, were all found innocent of the crimes, but Mangum was not prosecuted for perjury due to questions about her mental health. Oh, perfect. Yeah. No, don't worry about her. She's fine. She's got some problems. We're not going to prosecute her. That makes sense. We live just in fucking nonsense times when it comes to our legal system. She may have actually believed the many different stories that she had been telling, said former North Carolina Attorney General Roy Cooper in 2006. Oh, okay. Well, then that's okay if she believed it. Mangum cannot be prosecuted for perjury now because of the statute of limitations on perjury charges in North Carolina. Only lasts about 2 years, or around 2 years. So, lead prosecutor in the case, Mike Nifong, was the Durham County District Attorney at the time of the trial. So, okay. Nifong was later disbarred in 2007. Oh, wow. So the hits just keep on coming after it was revealed that he failed to turn over DNA evidence that would have been helpful to the defense's case. You prick. See, this is where like ideas, people get an idea and they think we're in this sphere already. We talk about it all the time. They get this idea where something is righteous to do, so fuck everything. You know, it's like the persecution of J6ers we were talking about earlier. Well, people think, oh, it's righteous, so we should do that, or persecution of Trump. Damn be the evidence, damn be truth. We just don't like this person. We don't like these people. We don't like what they stand for. We don't like what they say. So fuck it. Who cares about truth and law and all that? Let's just do all the shit. And yeah, don't worry about it. Yeah. I didn't turn over DNA evidence that would help these guys in their defense, their trial defense. Yeah, at least he got disbarred. I think you should go to prison too. You don't get disbarred, and okay, well, you just lost your job. You go to prison too, and let that be a fucking example for the rest of these scumbag lawyers to do shit like this. Fuck. Oh, I'm hyped up today. I'm getting mad, man, reading this shit. This one pisses me off, though. I'm so glad that they finally got exonerated, by the accuser at this point, because, like I said, I'm sure there were whatever percentage of people out there that knew about this, still believe these three guys had done the thing, even though they weren't convicted. So, because that doesn't mean anything. What's that mean for people? It's like, oh shit, they just got away with it. That's what they would say, because they'd already made up their mind in their, of these guys' guilt. So, anyways, good on these guys. Fuck this piece of shit that accused them of it. Hopefully she dies a rotten death in prison somehow. And, I won't say it, but, hey, maybe she made, I'm not going to say it. I was going to say something, but I was trying to frame a way to say something I wanted to say, but I think you know what I'm thinking. All right. What do we got here? I meant Will Smith doesn't curse in his raps. Yeah, it's true. I just smack people for nothing because I'm a cook. Just opened a bottle of Fleur de Cap Cabernet. Cheers. Oh, look at that. I don't even know if that. I know it's Cabernet, but I don't know if is that expensive. All I drink at this point now is what do you call it? I don't even know what I drink. Whatever. I drink sweet white wine, essentially. It's my girlfriend. She got me into it, and that's what I drink. Anyway, what else are you saying here? I was called a R defender on Facebook by a lot of women. I called friends when this came out, and I said she was lying. Yeah, funny how that can be, huh? How people will just jump all on board something. That's why I find I'm slow. I'm slow to come to like the, put it this way. I'm slow to put people on the cross. I think maybe let's we calm down a little bit. We get all the information before we take hard lines on things. But yeah, I find that that's more of a conservative minded approach, or centrist, I should say, even centrist, because centrist liberals can do it too, where you don't, you're open to nuance. You don't just make up your mind based on very little evidence. What is grape dosi? So, in case anybody else is watching, grape dosi. Joe's talking about pack a bowl of grape dosi. What is that? I think we need to just start embracing being called racist. Be like me. When someone calls you racist, just be like, yeah, and that's smart. I don't know. Listen, I still like the whole, no, I can't be racist. I have a black friend. I don't know. Listen, I've said it before. I'm not racist, but I do like to make racial jokes at times. White, brown, black, whatever. It doesn't matter. If it's funny, it's funny to me. I don't give a shit. The problem is, for us whiteys, is the jokes that go our way aren't as funny. I think because, I don't know, maybe we didn't allow, maybe when we were being enslavers and stuff, we didn't allow jokes. So they didn't really, refine their racial jokes as good as we did. I don't know what it is, but either way. Anyways. It's funny we don't have a fraction of that crap here. Yeah, well, no, you wouldn't. It's all Western shit. We're trying to give it to you, but you guys you're fighting it. Good on you. To back up my point, in the U.S., there was exactly 0 grapes of white men on BLK on black women in 2023, 22, 21, 20, 19. You get the drift. Yeah. Yeah. Not to say that they don't. Maybe they're just racist. Who knows? About the same score over here. All right. Well, on that lovely ending topic, we're at 56 minutes. So let's call it, boys. It's getting late for Robert over there. I don't know, what's it like 2 a.m. for you? So yeah. Hey, let me just change. Thanks for watching. If you did. If you didn't, well, hey, whatever. Maybe next time. I won't be here next week, just so you know. I won't be doing a live show next week because it is my pseudo mom's birthday. That will be out for that. So I will probably do a pre-recorded podcast version just so something gets out there, just so I don't have so much, dead time. Got to keep the channel live. So yeah. So don't look for me next week, boys. Monday at 7. You can look for the podcast; it'll be out, but there won't be the ability to talk to me. So, but I will be back on the 13th for show. And yeah, tis the season. It's a lot of goofy shit going on right now. So, like I said, bad timing for a birthday. But thanks for watching, everybody. Thanks for watching, you guys. Obviously, you make my little job here that I've given myself a lot more fun than it could be if you weren't here. So I appreciate that. Thank you. Anybody else who did come in and out, thanks for watching. If you did like it, hopefully you become a subscriber. Come check out the podcast. I do the live show Mondays at 7 o'clock. Runs for about an hour. Jump into the chat. My boys here will talk to you, or I will. We'll discuss. Even if you want to say something shitty like Rosie did in there. Still, appreciate it. Made me laugh. So if you want to say some shit about me, go ahead. So just make it funny. Make me laugh, and then whatever. If you do like the podcast, be a subscriber. Look for the videos. If you didn't catch all of it, you can catch smaller clips of the videos of the topics I talk about. 5 o'clock between Tuesday and Sunday, the week, 5 o'clock Eastern, that is. Obviously, like, subscribe, share, or subscribe, like, comment, share those videos, and help the small channel grow. Again, if you like it. If you don't, well, whatever. Let it die if it does. I'm just going to keep shoving it down your throats until it becomes something. So you can help it along, or you can fight me. Either way. All right. Thanks, guys. What are you saying over here just before I leave here? Got the telescope out and an open bottle. All-nighter coming. Oh, geez, man. Well done. I haven't done an all-nighter in a while. I was up really late last night. I was up to like 5 in the morning. So, yeah. Been doing that a little bit over the holidays. So, I'm playing a little bit of... I've actually been playing Diablo 4 and a new one called V Rising on my PS5. So, I'm not usually a gamer, but my buddy's a bad influence to get me in these games. So, I'm doing it. Take Tim Cass's place tonight. I don't care too much for the quartering show. Thanks, fellas. Happy New Year. Yep, Happy New Year, guys. May watch Tim Cass. Tim Cass is out until next week. Oh, yeah. So, that's right. He is out. He doesn't have any live show today. Yeah, so I did. Look at that. Before the New Year. Snuck one in. All right. Thanks, guys. Thanks for watching. Thanks, everybody else. I won't see you next week, but I will see you on the 13th. But you can, like I said, look for the pre-recorded podcast. So until then, take care. We'll see you.